I'm not feeling it today. I don't feel like training very much. I normally train in the morning pretty early on, but it is quite late in the afternoon for me to be training, but I figured I need to get the session done and keep up the routine of training or doing some kind of exercise every single day. I'm not sure what I'm going to do today. It's a day off. I know I normally do voiceovers, but I figured I'd talk to the camera this time and then do it that way. But we'll see how we go. So as you can see, session number 2 of the week, and I did not want to train. I guess I'd call this video something like how to train when you don't want to train. My tips for that would be typically to stick to the same routine. I didn't do that. I decided to train in the afternoon and I just went for a walk with my dog in the morning, which is still exercise. But I knew I had to get the session done, so I gave myself an hour in the afternoon. I have kind of 1 to 3 days a week where I can kind of do whatever exercise I want. So sessions kind of 1, 3, 4 and 5 are quite structured sessions with, you know, a certain amount of progressive overload. There's a certain amount of scheduled weights and reps based off a program that's kind of ever changing, as I've kind of explained in the videos. But then this time, on the other days, I can kind of do whatever I want. And so how I train when I don't want to train is I do kind of easy flowing bodyweight stuff. So step number 1 was I didn't want to set anything up, so I didn't do any setting up besides kind of pulling the rings down. Step number 2 is do movements that aren't incredibly technical. So my program today looked like something like I did a circuit of bodyweight dips. I did some hanging leg raises for my core. I did some ring rows at quite a generous body angle, so my feet weren't super raised, so it wasn't too challenging, kind of my upper back, and I just allowed my scapulars and shoulders to move as they wanted to. I did some Bulgarians and some kind of jumping lunges, and I even played around with some pistols, so for my quads and kind of that knee bending element. And then the only time that I whipped something out was a kettlebell, which happened to sit around the corner, and I did some single leg RDLs for my hamstrings. I think that was pretty much it. Again, I think moving is always going to be better than not moving, and for whatever reason I felt lousy this morning. I felt like I had a hangover when I definitely did not, and I didn't feel like training whatsoever, so that meant, I had to get something done that was kind of easy flowing and kind of ticked all the boxes. My template for training doesn't really ever change. The template stays the same. Besides, I do what I enjoy, so that happens to be weightlifting, but I kind of carry this template across to most people if they like powerlifting, if they like running, if they like mountain bike riding, if they like cycling. Do that as your primary task, improving the skill of that. Do that as much as you want, do as much as you can. And then with the leftover time, I kind of have created this template, which is pretty much just working each joint of the body. So for example, session 1, it's got a fairly simple template, so it'll have kind of 1 push exercise, 1 pull exercise, 1 elbow exercise, 1 knee dominant exercise, 1 hip dominant exercise, 1 rotational exercise, and then 1 plyometric exercise. Now it is quite broad, and that's intentional because you can play with the reps and sets how you want. You can make that program really high volume or really strength based. You can make it concurrent, so you can make some of the push exercises like bench press and overload them throughout the weeks, and you keep the rotational exercise like a med ball throw and make it really simple and kind of just allow yourself to rotate. The intensity and volume and even the exercises are all up to play, but the trick is just to make sure that we're hitting something full body every session of the week and keeping it as holistic as possible. And personally, with all my clients and myself, I found this to be the best kind of programming option, and it seems to have the best results. Again, you could view it as how you program your accessories. You could view it on how you just create your overall kind of athletic program. If you have something really specific in mind, of course it's not going to really work because you're going to find you have too much volumes if you're doing kind of something specific sport endeavors wise, and then you have kind of 8 different categories to fit an exercise for every session. But for most people, I find that if you kind of break those categories down and do something in each one, you can kind of always keep moving. And I think in the future I'll make a video on how this can specifically work and how it can best fit into your training style, whether it happens to be kind of trying to gain muscle, trying to just become more athletic, trying to improve your conditioning, whatever it is, your overall training, get stronger. I think this template works the best, and once you understand how to use it, you can incorporate it quite easily into um, whatever goals you have.